Imagine waking up in the morning. Just yesterday you had savings enough to buy a house. Today, with that same money, you can barely buy a loaf of bread. You receive your salary, but the moment it hits your hands it disappears because it's worthless. People don't carry money in wallets but in wheelbarrows. This is not a dystopia. This is called hyperinflation, and it has happened far more times than we think. We always assume money is something fixed and stable, reliable, as if it will always be there. But history doesn't say that. The worst hyperinflations didn't just wipe out bank accounts. They bankrupted states. They tore families apart. They collapsed empires. They passed through societies like a financial wildfire, and showed us how fragile our systems really are. Now you will see 5 real countries, 5 real economies. We will witness how their money turned to ash and what it cost them. But as you listen, don't forget this. Inflation doesn't shout at first. It comes quietly, and it slowly tears you apart. And when most people finally realize it, it's already too late, because it's far too late. Let's begin. Germany, 1923, the Weimar Republic. After World War I, Germany was being crushed under debt. The Treaty of Versailles imposed 132 billion gold marks in reparations, a number so large it was written to be paid over generations. So what did the German government do? They printed money, a lot of it. At first it seemed manageable, then prices doubled, then tripled, then spiraled out of control. By November 1923, the German mark was almost completely worthless. A loaf of bread cost 200 billion marks. People burned money in stoves. Children played with banknotes. A middle-class family lost a lifetime of savings in weeks. But what was truly lost wasn't money. It was trust. The moment a society loses trust in its currency, everything collapses. Trade, wages, contracts, plans for the future. This economic collapse opened the door to social collapse. Chaos and despair created space for extremism. 10 years later, Adolf Hitler came to power. And the foundation of that trauma was right here. Now let's fast forward, Zimbabwe. Early 2000s, the government was under sanctions and isolation. Land seizures destroyed agriculture. Production collapsed. So what was the response? Printing money again. The spiral began. In 2008, inflation reached 79.6 billion%. Prices doubled every 24 hours. The state kept adding zeros. 10 million, 100 billion, 100 trillion. Eventually they gave up. They switched to the US dollar and the South African rand. What was the cost? Pensions were wiped out. Industry collapsed. An entire generation became economic refugees. Who survived? Those with land, those with skills, those with tangible value. Let's go back. Hungary, 1946. One of the worst hyperinflations in history. The post-war economy was shattered. The government printed the pengo, relentlessly. Prices doubled every 15 hours. Inflation reached 41.9 quadrillion%. New banknotes were invented, then another. Then another. Still not enough. The currency was abandoned entirely. The system was reset. The middle class vanished. Every saved asset was erased. The state's legitimacy collapsed. Now let's look at Latin America. Venezuela. 2010s. An oil-rich country. But corruption, bad policies, and obsession with control destroyed everything. They printed money to cover deficits. Again. In 2018, inflation surpassed 1,000,000%. If you didn't spend your salary the day you got it, it was worth half the next day. Shelves were empty. Barter returned. Doctors and engineers became couriers in other countries. Zeros were removed. But the damage wasn't. Final stop, Yugoslavia. 1990s. War, sanctions, disintegration. In 1993, monthly inflation was 313 million%. Prices doubled every 1.4 days. A new currency, then another, then another. People used the German mark and the dollar. The official currency was a joke, and the pattern was always the same. Crisis, money printing, loss of trust, collapse. Now you're thinking, this is the past, we're smarter now. Are we? Today, global debt is at record levels. U.S. debt is $34 trillion. Central banks have printed trillions for years. It worked for a while. Then, it didn't. In 2021 to 2022, prices exploded. Interest rates rose. Life became more expensive. There is no hyperinflation yet. But the mindset is the same, and that's the most dangerous part. You may not have control, but you do have exposure. Real wealth is not paper. It's purchasing power, it's skill, it's resilience. Money collapses not because ink fades, but because belief dies. Now you've seen the pattern. And when someone says, it can't happen here, you know what to say. History doesn't repeat itself exactly. But if you don't understand it, it crushes you the same way. If you enjoyed these kinds of historical finance documentaries, don't forget to subscribe.